Hey y'all, how you doing? I know it goes another late night video. So this evening I'm going to talk about heartbreak. This is something that I'm sitting through right now. I decided to do an experiment. So I did a YouTube about following paths, and I would talked about the difference between following your will, your path, following God's path, God's will, and following Satan's path, Satan's will. And so I decided to do an experiment where each week I'm going to try a path. I ain't trying Satan's path. I don't care what nobody say, but I'm trying God's path this week. And that didn't actually start out too well, to be honest with you. But this leads to a lesson in heartbreak. Now, usually when people think about heartbreak, they think about romantic heartbreak and relationship heartbreak. And heartbreak does deal with relationships, whether that's a relationship with yourself or a relationship with other people. But the heartbreak I'm going to talk about is not a romantic heartbreak. The heartbreak, or the heartbreaks I'm going to talk about, is like the heartbreak of when you're working really hard and you feel you're making progress and no one sees that. That's heartbreak. Or when you're going through a life change like I am now, and I realize that I really had to sit down and see that how not well liked I am as a person, and how family, that's blood, holds on to things. Everyone's family does this for when people are younger and assumes that that's the person's personality throughout how they are, right? Unapproachable, what else have you. But then as you go on and the choices that you make of the people you choose, and the people you're no longer with, you realize really how much they really didn't care, or they don't love you and respect you. And then you start to realize, in looking at people's actions, how much people really don't give a shit about you that you thought did. That's heartbreak. Or people that could have helped you along your path didn't, because they figured you were so strong you didn't need the help. I have had in my life numerous people tell me, you are too talented to be sitting here, so if you want something, you better sing for your supper. And that was the advice I got. Now, never mind not knowing where to go and how to do that. Never mind not knowing where my next dollar was going to come from. And I had a full-time job, but I paid rent, and I didn't know where my next meal was going to come from. And that's the advice I got. Or people that, in the business that I want to go into, and at that time I wasn't acting, but even now in acting, I have some beautiful, wonderful coaches that are very helpful to me. But I have had people that, because I wouldn't take their advice, or I didn't agree with it, or I didn't want to do particular things, or again, because I had that strength. Oh, I don't need to help her. She'll find her way. She'll figure it out. But what I don't understand about that thinking is, if we were never really walking in that knowing, and you had that knowing, how the hell do you figure we know? What does strength have to do with that? And if someone doesn't know, remember my saying, you don't know what you don't know, right? Then how are you supposed to figure that out? You know what I'm saying? So I always thought that was so ignorant, guiding someone like that. Like when someone needs help, you're not going to help because based on their strength. Or likewise, people using or utilizing your strength to find theirs. And when you show a moment of weakness, they get upset with you. You're not allowed to have it. I've had that too. That's not love. That's manipulation and using. See, today I've been sitting still. And I've been knocked down today. And I've been really sitting thinking. Really thinking. And just being when I just couldn't think anymore. And something occurred to me. Those that will, will. Those that won't, won't. Those that want to will. Those that don't, won't. It was really that simple. So, as I've looked back on the friendships and relationships that I've had with people, I had to go through the heartbreaks of not losing them. It's a blessing I lost them. It's a blessing they're gone out of my life. But it's not so much that. It is in action that they really don't give a shit. And realizing the heartbreak that how many people in your life don't give a shit. Think of it this way. How many times have you sat up and one person could have made the difference between you making that team, or you making that grade, or you getting that job, or you getting that promotion, or you even getting that performance, or you getting that role, or you making it big? And they stood in your way out of either jealousy or misunderstanding or hatefulness, selfishness, jealousy, or they felt you weren't ready and they didn't give you that chance. They assumed. But what if you had it and you had been ready? See, I've been there too. When I went to Berkeley, I wanted to be a brain surgeon. One class stopped me from doing that. One professor stopped me from doing that. All because he wouldn't explain why chemical reactions acted the way they did. I didn't understand. And I said, I don't learn this way. Can you please explain them? And what I was told was, well, at Berkeley, we just memorize them. I'm like, what if I don't understand it? I can't memorize it. One person. Now, another person would say, well, if you really wanted to do it, you would have done it. But do you also understand that if you don't have that understanding, you don't know where to find it, you don't know where to get it, and then when you do ask people, even in your class, they don't know. You ask another professor, they don't want to help you because they don't want to step on the toes of that other professor. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, there's always circumstances in which people don't do. Then I also learned that life is based on what you do and what you say. Yeah, it can be based on what you think, but at the end of the day, it's what you do and what you say. Never mind the intention. Never mind the reason. At the end of the day, is what you actually do and say. Intention don't matter. Reason don't matter. That's not what's judged. It's what you do and say is judged. And I thought about that. And I was like, you know what? I've had a lot of people influence me for the wrong reasons, for their own reasons. And I'm where I'm at, but I don't blame them for where I'm at. I'm where I'm at because where I need to be for a reason. And then I was thinking to myself, I said, you know, when I do things, when I have concerts, when I have performances, it ain't even family that's there. They don't even go. It's not even friends that go, you know. It's like my team and a small part of my family that goes, the important ones. And I'm like, and I'm just paying attention. Just paying attention. I'm like, okay, I'm collecting information. I'm like, okay. But then I'm like, you know what? I wanted to be sad. Then I couldn't be sad. Because on the flip side of that, it's like, yeah, there's heartbreak. When you're trying so hard and you don't know what you don't know, you don't know where to get the information, you don't know how, and there's no one to help you. And you've had very little spiritual teachers in your life to even point you in the right direction on where to go, which that's what I've had too. Been mainly me. But then I'm like, you know what? I don't need to be heartbroken over who and what I don't need. I made it this far without those people. I just needed the lessons that they brought to me. That's all I needed. I didn't need nothing else from them. And when I thought about that, I could thank them for their lesson and be perfectly fine if I never approached them again. So I was like, you know what? That's a blessing. Heartbreak can be a blessing because it lets you know how people really feel about you. It gets to your real emotion of what you need to learn in that challenge and that struggle, like we were talking about earlier this week. It gets to the real of you. Heartbreak is wrenching. It's gut wrenching. And, some people will be like, well, so-and-so is hurting. I'm going to tell you about that. When you're telling someone how much you hurt, and then they say to you, you don't have it worse than so-and-so. You have it better than so-and-so. Let me tell you something about that. Okay? And I'm going to keep it real with that. Let me tell you about that. When someone says something like that to me, I'm like, you know what? I am so sorry so-and-so is hurting, but I don't know about so-and-so. I know about me, and that's what I care about right now. So I can wish them well in love. I care about me. Now, a lot of people will be like, that's so cruel. How? How am I or anybody going to feel for somebody else when you sitting in your raw pain right now? How? Why would you rob me of how I'm truly feeling in my spirit right now, and you going to try to make me see someone else's pain, which would make me even feel worse on top of mine? How is that supposed to make me feel better? Or how am I going to get out of my moment that I need to deal with, because it's an important thing for me to deal with, to acknowledge someone else's pain that I don't even know how their pain is. I don't know what they're going through, because I'm not them. I'm not walking their path. I don't need to know. They need to know. I need to know mine and the lesson I need to learn from mine. Once I learn my lesson from mine, then I can help someone else who has a similar issue. But I can't do that until I get through mine. So I don't need to care about theirs right now. I need to care about mine. And now some people can say that that's cruel. That ain't cruel. That's truth. People, stop being so scared to say what is. And stop being so scared to accept it. When you have pain, it is okay to acknowledge and sit in that heartbreak so you can work through it. Not push it away. Not act like it doesn't exist. No. So you can get through it. And say, I didn't see that. And a lot of times to get through heartbreak, you got to be quiet. You got to sit. You got to feel. The one thing they don't like for people to do is feel. You got to feel. Feel. Well, I'm feeling. And I'm seeing. I'm seeing who shows up, who turns up, who don't. And like people have no problem throwing me away and other people away. And I used to have a problem doing that. I'm not going to throw you away, but I'm going to kindly leave you where you at. And when you don't hear from me, you don't hear from me. There's a reason. I'm leaving you in love and peace. Because I don't need you to deal with you. And I don't have to. You don't have to deal with me. We leave each other in peace and love right there. Lessons. I don't have to leave these people in any type of anger at all. It is what it is. And I'm perfectly fine. And they're perfectly fine. It is what it is. It is what it is. So when you have that heartbreak, okay, understand that love you have will carry you through. Remember who you are. Remember your strength. Remember the one that people said you had, so they didn't need to help you. They wanted to help someone in distress. That they needed it more than you. Despite what you didn't know, they needed more than you. Yes, I want all y'all that pulled that to remember that. I want you to remember that. Because karma's a bitch. But I thank you. I thank you. Because you showed me how strong I really am. And I needed a reminder. All those years ago. I needed one. Even now. So I thank you for that. That's how you turn heartbreak around. What is it trying to show me? About me. What is the love lesson it's trying to show me about me? So I can fix it. Who do I need to leave behind that I don't need? Who do I need to push out? And sometimes you get heartbreak because the Great Spirit refuses to give you anything because you got them heartbreakers around you ready to gimme. And the Great Spirit's like, no, you ain't about to cash in on this. You can go. Oh, you still around? I'll wait till you leave. Then I'll give so-and-so what they deserve. But as long as I'm around, you ain't going to have access to that. Sometimes you won't receive nothing until those heartbreakers go away. Because if I know the Great Spirit, it don't like to give you things that it has to take away. And it does not like to give things with a lesson. Give you the lesson first and then it gives to you. So, sometimes you won't get because the wrong people around you, you know. So you better look to see who you got around you if you keep losing stuff. That might mean you got some people you need to lose. So they don't benefit off of your cross. You the one carrying that cross. You. They ain't carrying it with you. So why should they benefit from it? Remember, those are the heartbreakers. Those are the ones that didn't even ask to help you with your cross. They just sitting up there looking. They strong enough they can carry it. They don't need my help. How dare you show weakness? Where's that strength I know you got? You don't need me. Same thing. Same thing. Relationships, same thing. It's not you, it's me. You know, I just don't have the time. And it's not fair to you. You know, I'm not the kind of person to, I'm not really looking for someone like you. So let's just be friends. All that. but you lower yourself for what you think you want, when your heart already told you no? Why are you carrying crosses you ain't supposed to bear? And that's not necessary. And as I'm asking you this question, like I usually do, I'm listening to this for myself. I'm asking this question to myself. Trust and believe that. Why are you carrying crosses you don't need to bear? Don't anymore. Let them go. Just carry love. All right, y'all. You take care. You let them heartbreakers go. Let that heartbreak go. You don't need it. Take the lesson with you. Take that love with you. But baby, you leave them at that corner. You don't need them. You don't need them. Take care now.